All right, guys. Come in, huddle for warmth. That's all we're here for.
All right. Come on in. Filter in quietly, please.
All right, guys. Everybody, as you all filter in, I am Ryan Detert. I'm the CEO and founder of Influential. And I'm very excited to present my longtime friend and the global head of operations for TikTok, Adrienne Lahans.
It's so great to be here, Ryan, and you had me at Bloody Marys and barbecue, and now we're up on stage. So super excited to be here. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Adrienne Lahans. I lead global operations for creator marketing solutions at TikTok. And I've a couple things about what we focus on. We focus on how we can help creators make a living on TikTok through branded content and creator marketing, and how we can help brands connect with creators in order to best connect with their consumers and their audiences on the platform. And I've been in the branded content and creator space for well over a decade now. It's been really incredible to be part of the evolution of the space over the last 10 plus years, and spent about 5 years at Influential as the COO. So been on the managed services side of the business, and now on the platform side at TikTok. We really think about creator marketing and the creator marketing industry as a living and breathing ecosystem, where you have creators on one side, you have brands on the other, and then you have enablers like Influential and the platform that really powers and unlocks a lot of the potential as like the engine and the interface. And so it's really energizing to help uplift creators and also help brands connect with consumers in really real and meaningful ways.
One quick note, unlike TikTok, you really got to hold your microphones closer than you've ever done.
We will
Will
speak
do.
like this.
There you go.
Will do.
Perfect. And Adrienne, she was the COO for Influential, was previously at BuzzFeed for years. So from production level content to influencer content now on the tech side and delivering the creator marketplace. So I'm excited to share, so I'll stop talking and share a reel based off of what we've done over the last year or so on TikTok, and hit it. And it's a little glitchy, but we'll take it.
Get one signature pumpkin spice latte and a pumpkin cream cold brew.
We can abort this, it's okay. We'll you guys get the idea. It's very creative. It's very cool. So
There we go.
Right, we get it. You're not tech producers. You're media, so it's fine.
all right, so we'll cut it. So we run hundreds and hundreds of TikTok campaigns any given year. We actually even do it alongside TikTok. They've been amazing partners, alley-ooping us brand deals where we can be special and offer added value. One thing I want to talk about today is some of the case studies.
Yeah.
So I don't know if should I kick it off or?
Yeah,
all right,
go
cool.
for it.
All right, so those who've heard me speak before, I'm a nerd by nature. I care about very boring things like ROAS and ROI and delivering back full closed loop attribution. Where I get really excited is working first to markets with partners, and actually some J&J people here today. We have a proof case study for this, so I don't have to tell anybody. We actually did a campaign with Neutrogena, where we actually did the first ever full closed loop measurement for Neutrogena through Walmart and Target. We partner with Atlas or Advantage Solutions to see did influencer content drive to real sales at the register. Now think about that. As much as top of funnel is amazing on TikTok and creativity and all the views are great, if you can show that it led to additional sales, it's a game changer. So with that, we actually saw a 9% lift in overall sales, and that was based off of inventory availability. So at Walmart and at Target was a product available, and as you ran those really fun, cool campaigns you saw for a brief glitching moment on screen, we were able to actually measure, did it lead to people going to the register and buying through point of sale data. So really changing the landscape, how we think about all of social media marketing as top of funnel, but actually going to middle and lower funnel as well.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point, because a lot of times brands and marketers are really thinking about creators from that PR lens, like basically sending free product or sending swag to creators, like crossing their fingers hoping that they post, right? But you should really invest very heavily into creators as a channel for the entire marketing funnel, right? From the upper funnel awareness campaigns all the way down to the lower funnel, conversion, and, partners like Influential are really great at driving that offline to online measurement and providing a lot of, proving a lot of the efficacy as it relates to creators. And we see just incredible results across the board. We've done studies where we've seen that we've compared brand creative, like creative that's been created specifically and originally for TikTok versus repurposed assets, and then also against creator assets. And the creator assets are always outperforming across across pretty much every metric, across the board.
And a shout out to TikTok, and that every platform obviously now is really on the creator bandwagon and the train. First off, right when you guys came on the scene and TikTok was, when we were working on Influential on TikTok stuff, they were leaned in saying, how do we actually drive equity and dollars to creators, because they're their future. That's the best content creation. And then the name, image, and likeness of the content being delivered on the platform performs better than even the O&O sometimes the handle. So TikTok's done a tremendous job, and I'd love to actually be a good segue into the creator marketplace. So something that you guys have built out that is, we see as a tremendous value, but I'd love to hear kind of from your own words what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So TikTok is investing really heavily in creators, really heavily in creator marketing, and that's in large part because it's one of the best ways for brands to market to consumers and to audiences on TikTok. They can bring really native storytelling, and they unlock a lot of the ability to connect with communities in very, very real and engaging ways. And so we've invested really heavily into the creator marketplace. It is our first-party solution. It's the official platform for brand and creator collaborations on TikTok. It's a great way to discover creators based on the type of content that they post, where they're located, what the audience demographics look like. You can, it's end-to-end from a campaign management workflow perspective, and it's directly integrated with TikTok Ads Manager, so it's very seamless to post, to post through Ads Manager and run paid media against it. And there's essentially two types of ways to engage with creators via the creator marketplace. The first is direct invitation, and that's like your traditional creator marketing workflow where you curate a set of creators. You basically identify number of parameters, you curate a specific list of creators, and you reach out to them individually one by one, and they opt in if they're interested in participating in the campaign. The second approach is a more bi-directional workflow, and that's what we call open application campaign. And what's great about that is, as a brand marketer, you can essentially create a creative brief, post it on the marketplace to a wider segment of creators, and they can then self-apply if they are interested in participating in that campaign. And what's great about that workflow is it really democratizes the selection process and makes it really easy for brands to discover creators that they might have otherwise scrolled past that maybe they didn't think about. And it really gives more agency to the creator to participate and raise their hand and pitch themselves for a brand integration. And so that's another way. And and then we have our API that also unlocks that similar kind of like workflow for all of our partners as well.
Before we get into the API, so any latest and greatest programs you've seen in the TCM? TCM is short for the Creator Marketplace, for those that didn't catch that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have rolled out featured creator lists, and we curate a group of creators that really best resonate with some of the most popular hashtags on TikTok. So for example, hashtag TikTok made me buy it, hashtag food talk, hashtag fashion talk. Our team has curated a group of creators that really best resonate with each of those different verticals, and then we align them with tentpole activation. So for example, for Valentine's Day, we really highlighted, fashion talk and food talk creators, and make it really easy for brands to discover creators that are really matching with those types of communities on the platform. And then for Super Bowl, we curated a very special group of creators called the Originators. And the Originators are these trailblazing Black creators who have really started the trends, the viral trends that we all live for on the platform. And in fact, Levi's recently worked with the Originators for their 501, their campaign to promote their 501 classic jeans. campaigns. And they had each of the creators tell a story about how they were inspired, what they were inspired by, that really sparked that trend that they created. And also, how they learned about how they essentially unlocked their artistry. And it's these really fascinating stories where you can learn so much from these creators who have just found so much success on the platform and have really permeated culture in so many deep and meaningful ways. And I'll tell you about two of the creators that Levi's highlighted in this. And one of them her name is Kiera Wilson, and she started the Savage trend. So she choreographed the Savage dance. And what's great about that story is she posted the dance, and she had about 500 followers at the time. And it kind of went nowhere. She posted it, didn't really do anything. She went to sleep that night, woke up the next day and said, you know what, let me try this again. So she just reshot it. Maybe she changed one or two things. She reposted it to the platform, and it went wild. And she went from 500 followers to 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers, and now she has well over 3.3 million followers. And what it goes to show you is that you don't need to be perfect on TikTok. You don't need to knock it out of the park the first time or every single time. It's really a place for experimentation, for engaging with communities, and for testing and learning, and really just being yourself and just try it once. If it doesn't work, try it again. And so I really love that story. It's a great success story. And then the other creator that they worked with is named Vano 3000. And he's a music producer. He's an artist. And he was really inspired back in the day, if you guys all remember, the sort of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, very sort of nostalgic moment. He recreated the Adult Swim bumps. So he started the Adult Swim trend on TikTok, recreated the bumps that kind of air in between the commercials. He created the soundtrack, and that was another thing that really took off, and people started making it their own. They made their own, Adult Swim bumps. And it was just this really nostalgic moment, and the community came together. And Adult Swim themselves really started participating in this trend. They were engaging with creators directly. They were asking questions. They were repurposing those assets on their own brand account. And that's a really great example of as a brand, you don't need to come in and start the trend. It's not necessarily a top-down approach in marketing anymore. It's really a groundswell, and it's a sort of a bottoms-up. And so you could come into the platform and just participate in the conversation, meet your brand where it already is. And that's what we love about creators, and that's what we love about marketing on TikTok.
I love those two creator stories, and it goes back to the concept that we believe in alongside TikTok, that creators are actually small businesses. So you have these diverse small businesses that it's not just the person themselves maybe making the content, whether they have editing, whether they have sound, whether they have makeup, all the things that happen that go into making viral content. And what we've seen over the last, let's say 3+ years, is brands really doubling down and going into the idea of how do I get, not just do I have a diversity in my campaigns, but majority or even exclusive diversity to represent the audience they want to speak to. So because of platforms like TikTok, we've seen a massive spike in the last couple years. So last year, we saw on our campaigns related to TikTok and a few other platforms, 91% of our campaigns had diverse creators. So brands are jumping in to at least have a foot in the campaign. 50% are majority. So think about it. 50% of campaigns are majority diverse creators, and that's from AA, Hispanic, LGBTQIA, to now even seeing 20% exclusive. So literally, 20% of the creators are diverse. So while we're very proud of that and it's happening in the market, it's always a next step. What's going to be the next kind of iteration to get people to lean further in? And we don't want it to be a trend. We don't want it to be a reaction. We want it to be a consistent over time. It's always good to have a siren in the background when you're speaking.
I feel like I'm in New York.
Yeah, right? This is good. It's freezing and it's, yeah.
That's what happens when your content is so fire.
The hype man. Amplifying diverse voices and the originators is actually a great way for these small businesses to get their equity, get their piece, and be able to drive towards a larger business. And we're seeing the growth of follower counts increase. We're seeing the notoriety. The dollars are going up, and it's creating that scenario. I can tell you from our experience with other platforms, any nascent platform always has a lower CPM, cost per thousand, for what you pay creators or what creators essentially ask for. We're seeing that now increase, where it's starting to be in parity to the YouTubes, to the Metas. So that's a sign of the times that whether it's TikTok or other platforms, dollars are going up, not just for diverse creators, but for all creators, because of the interest from brands like yourselves on these platforms. So, after that diatribe, let's go into the Tcm Api. So what is the thesis behind the idea of creating an API for first-party data?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I personally am a huge proponent of managed services, right? It's a really great way for, it really unlocks and sort of demystifies the space. And so Ryan and his team have done a great job bringing services to the creator marketing industry. And, you know, a little bit about, so like the TikTok Creator Marketplace is a self-serve platform. And so it's really great if you are, you know, if you're really familiar with the space, if you have dedicated headcount to running creator marketing campaigns. But we also recognize at TikTok that the ecosystem is much broader than our first-party tool, right? And so we have partnered with a number of creator marketing partners, and then we badge those partners as TikTok's, you know, as part of the Creator Marketing Partner Program. Influential is one of them, and they each bring sort of unique differentiators to the space. They add additional kind of managed services on top of the Creator Marketplace, and our API, basically the Creator Marketplace powers the API, and then the API then powers these other partners who then add sort of bells and whistles or managed services sort of on top of the Creator Marketplace. So Ryan, would love to hear a little bit from you around what is your kind of unique value proposition within the broader ecosystem.
And Adrienne was there when we made our partnership with IBM Watson, our AI technology partner, and a number of other vendors over the years. Really, for any API from them or from any other platform, it's essentially just it's a first-party feed of insights. It's somewhat structured, but it's not, you know, it's not out of the box. You have to have your own ML and AI on top of it to make decisions around brand safety. So determining, for us, we think of everything like an MPAA rating, like kind of like the movies or the video games. They're G through R based on like profanity subsets or based on different things you might see or images or, you know, nudity or guns, all of that stuff, which you know, is part of pulling in that insights and then providing that back to clients. Contextual relevancy, brands, you know, we have a number of brands in here. You don't want, if you're Coke or Pepsi, you don't want the influencer talking about the other brand right before you go live. You want to have that separation of time. So having a managed service to make sure that you know if someone's speaking about a competitive brand, a certain vertical, sentiment. So they may have spoken about your brand, but was it good or bad? It's also a thing that doesn't necessarily come back automatically through an API. And then where we've seen a lot of needs from TikTok and from brands like yourselves is how do you actually make sure that when you want to go live at an actual event, like in Austin, you know, at South by Southwest, that requires, you know, human capital. You want to be able to have insurance. A lot of automotive partners. There is a lot of insurance issues that most platforms don't want to take on. We take on, a number of partners will take on for brands. Usage rights, to be able to use those rights on TikTok, on other websites, other places. That's all negotiation that has to happen outside the platform. And really exclusivity, like if you want someone to lock in for Pepsi for 3 months, you have to be able to enforce that, and that's something we can do as well. So you're seeing that where it's, again, it's the technology layer to pull in the feed, but then it's then be able to have the usage and all the other stuff to make it so that it's a seamless process for the brands.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. I mean, there are a lot of elements that go into creating an effective creator marketing campaign, and it's still quite a nascent space for a lot of folks. And so having some additional services to help guide that process, to also like come up with a creative strategy, come up with the media strategy, you know, and then effectively manage the process end to end. That's where a lot of our partners come in, and these partners are experts in the discipline of creator marketing and can really help guide brands through that process.
You guys have been great partners. So I'd love to continue to talk about diversity, but maybe a little slightly different angle. So the diversity on TikTok. So what's the monthly active user base now? Something ridiculous?
Yeah, so last year we announced that we reached 1 billion monthly active users on TikTok, which is a really big milestone and one that we achieved in a really short period of time, relatively. And really the way that we did it is through the community, through the diversity of the creators that we have on TikTok. You know, some people still think about TikTok as for young folks, right? Like for really young creators, but it's really for everyone. And like, for example, I think in your reel, you highlight one of my favorite creators. Her name is, or her handle is Cooking with Linja. I love her story because she graduated from MIT. She was an executive at AT&T for many years, I believe. She's a grandmother. She's like 70-something years old, and she partnered with her son, who's a videographer and cinematographer, and leaned into her like retirement passion, which is cooking. And so she makes all of these like recipe videos, but she does it in such like a fun and kitschy way, where her son is like adding all these sort of like video editing, sort of on top of it, and it's just like a cooking show that you've like never seen before, and really brings it to life. And the way that they're able to integrate brands like Chobani and others is really wonderful. And so I love the grandmothers of TikTok. I love the grandparents. I love the old gays. I don't know if you guys know the old gays. I love Lily Hayes. She's like the angry grandmother of TikTok. She just goes around yelling at people all day long, and her son is in the background laughing. So there's just such a diversity of creators. And in fact, like what shows up in my For You feed is going to be very different from what shows up in anyone else's For You feed. Like in my For You feed, I get a lot of, comedy. I like to go to TikTok when I need a little pick-me-up, so I get a lot of comedy videos. I'm a mother, of a 5-year-old, so I get a lot of family talk. I get a lot of recipe videos myself. I get some investment advice. TikTok's algorithm really leans into you as a very multi-dimensional person, so it serves a lot of really engaging content to you. So that's what's in my feed. But I was talking to someone the other day, and she gets seaweed foraging content. I didn't even know that there's a thing such as seaweed foraging, but there's a whole community of people out there that walk the beach and find seaweed and then dry out this seaweed and talk about all of the unique different types of seaweed that exist in the world. And just goes to show you that for however obscure or however mainstream your interests are, you could find a community for it on TikTok. What's in your For You feed?
One plug for myself. If you think about one thing from today's talk, seaweed foraging. We are the kings of seaweed foraging and influential. Let us know if you need that. My feed is it's a random hodgepodge. So I get a lot of I don't think I'm into conspiracies, but I get a lot of conspiracy kind of things that come into my feed, which is always weird. And then a bunch of dances, even though I don't dance. Not on TikTok, at least. I'm trying to think, what's the weirdest thing? I do get a lot of Web3 stuff. I'm a Web3 guy, so I get all from the good and the bad, from like the, hey, this new thing has dropped, you're going to miss out on $1 billion opportunity, to like those ones, to just someone explaining very clearly Web3 talk. I don't know if it's the new term for it, but that to me is where I see a lot of opportunity. Where at the education, maybe the educational talk, we talk about that. Do you ever show any of that to your sons, or any ed talk, education talk?
Yeah, so my son, he's 5, and he is obsessed with dinosaurs and space. And so we are always watching like the science videos. We're always watching like, there's actually a live stream that we've watched a bunch of times where there's just like a guy like in space, and you could just watch for hours like him, his view of Earth, his view down to Earth. I think it might be like a NASA live feed or something. But yeah, just so many science videos and dinosaurs and all that sort of stuff.
And if you want to get lost for hours, click the little live button in the top left, and just watch people in their rooms talking about nothing, but still having thousands of people that are just living vicariously through them. So I'm curious, do you think of, how would you characterize TikTok? Is it a short form video platform? Is it a live platform? Is it, what's a good way to describe it?
Yeah, so TikTok is an entertainment platform. And I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what's really unique about the TikTok platform compared to others is it's our algorithm, right? We have a social graph. It's not, a content graph. It's not a social graph. A social graph is based on, like, you get served content based on the people that you follow, or based on your friends and your family. That's the type of content you get surfaced on a social graph. But TikTok as an entertainment platform is a content graph. And the content graph is based on your interests, and it's based on the type of content that you watch, what you engage with. And again, like you as a multidimensional human, like, all of the different interests that you might have, all of that gets surfaced to you through this content graph. So it's a great way to really discover so many new creators that maybe you don't know IRL, right? You're not only surface the creators that you follow directly, you are surface creators that really speak to your interests. And so that discoverability aspect really democratizes the experience on TikTok, and really anyone can be a creator, whether you are, just like any one of us can be a creator. If you have a passion, if you have an expertise, if you have an interest, you can talk about it on TikTok. You can showcase your art on TikTok. You could showcase your expertise, or whatever makes you you. You could just be yourself. And the other thing, I was talking to a creator recently, and she is a she throws clay, so she does all of the ceramic. She creates all these beautiful bowls and ceramic pieces. But she's also a social justice advocate, and she's also a cinematographer. So she's all of these things, and she can represent all of those things about herself on TikTok. And you don't have to be limited by your niche. You can really lean into your niche, but you can be yourself across all of the different passion points that you have as a person.
Well, sage advice from Adrienne. I want to thank you and everybody here for braving the elements and for having us talk today. Thanks.